Hello everyone, so welcome to this stream. We will do some Helm code to code Azimutt feature. So basically, what is Azimutt? Azimutt is a web app to explore your SQL database. So as you can see on the page here, so it's an app fully developed in Helm that is front-end only. So everything is inside the browser. You load the schema and parse it, and then you can navigate into it. And today we will allow user to add some notes to some columns. So if you have a table with some columns, you maybe want to add a note to them for later. And that's what we will do. So let's go into the code. So first, I just have my project on the main branch here. So I created another branch, but basically just the main one. First, we'll start the server. So using the helm live command. So these are commands that are currently on the project. I expect to change them soon to have npm start for that, but for now we still have a few commands. So then we have Tailwind. So as we are using Tailwind, we will have to compile the style into CSS. Have to launch Tailwind, and I'm launching also Handbook, which is a component directory. To create the component, we'll see that just after. So we have everything. So let's go into the application to see what we want to do. So basically, when you are using GoSpeak, when you are using Azimutt, sorry, you just have to explore the schema. You can import your own schema here, or otherwise you can choose a project you can start with. So basically, there are preset projects. So if you just want to try it out, and basically I often use GoSpeak as a development project. So GoSpeak is another project from me for Meetup Organizer, as I'm organizing the Human Talks Paris. But whatever, we will just have a database here. So load the sample, and here we have the GoSpeak database, at least some of the tables. So what we want to do is, for example, have a column here and add a note and make it accessible later. So we already have the double click action. So first, how we could do the interaction. So as we already have the double click action to hide some columns like this. If I double click, it hides the column. I want maybe to have a right click menu with another icon here for add a note or edit the note. And after, when there is a note, have a little notification on the top right here. And yeah. Okay, I will try to have a better sound. Maybe it's better now. Just tell me in the chat. Just tell me if the sound is better. So. C'est pire. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, this is some settings to improve. This is my the first stream I do, so have a few things to fix. Yeah, just another thing. Don't hesitate to ask any question during this stream, either on Azimutt or on Helm. I'm not here to finish this feature, and don't know if I will finish it because it seems a bit big. But we'll see. The last time I finished it in 1 hour and a half. A bit surprised about that. So maybe it will go very well, or maybe we won't finish. But anyway, the goal is to have a moment together, learning a bit about Azimutt, but mostly about Helm. So don't hesitate to ask anything on the chat. I'm looking at it. So the goal is add a menu on the settings here to have a new button to add or edit a note, and then have a small notification to see it. So let's go into the code. So as you can see, we are on a project and then have an ID. So I'm using Helm pages. So we have the repository with the sources, and then for Helm pages we have the pages folder, which all the pages, and the structure follows the URL. So as you can see, project here, and the ID with underscore. So the underscore means it's a variable in the path. So this is exactly the page we want. On Helm, when you have a page, you have the Helm architecture where you have the init function that just creates the initial model. Then we have a view function that just takes the model and draws the HTML for the pages. And then we have an update function that handles all the events sent by the view and just update the model from the previous model and the event, and then you can produce a new model. And basically Helm will just take this new model and re-render the view. The subscription are from another part. So if you want to listen things, for example, click on the DOM or something like that, you can use subscription. So they are global to the application, but we won't use them now. So to look at what we want, we'll just look into the view. So into the view, we have a view project. Then we have a view app, which is basically the whole app. Otherwise, we have a not found or other small thing around. And inside the view app, we have the navbar, we have the ERG, which is where we have everything inside. So basically, the ERG is a full Canva here. And then we have the view commands, which is the command on the bottom right. So let's see in the ERG. So in the ERG, we compute a bunch of values, and we have the main HTML, and then we have inside it, we have view tables, view relation, selection box, virtual relation. So the selection box is the box to select multiple tables. So inside the view tables, we have basically a key div to have some performance improvement, and inside a view table. So of course, this is where we display the table. Inside the view table, we have a few computation, but after we have basically one component, which is a table, and we pass some big settings here, and that's what we are using to display a table. So this component table just takes the settings, we call them model here, and draw a header, so the table header, like here, the columns, basically, and some hidden columns. So that's the part here where you see the hidden columns. So let's see inside the columns. Inside the columns, we just have a div with a view column here, and we have this view column. So that's the column with the enclosing div, and then the icon, the name, and the kind. So basically the three parts, so the icon, the name, and the kind. So that's for So that's for the view column. And basically, as I said, I use a lot Helm book, and basically we have everything inside the component. So as you can see, the table component is inside component, organism, and table. And this is where I have my components for the application that are not linked to the application. So as you can see, the model is defined inside the component and it's not linked to the model defined into the application. And with this, I can have a book like this, and the book can hold any component. So for example, I have a badge, some buttons, different colors that are generated. I have also a drop down if I want. I have modal, and basically for the lower you get, the more complex you have. We have the table, so I have dynamic tables if I want to try out things, and I also have some tables in any possible state. So if I have a view with this underline, if it's hover, we have a colored header a little bit. When we hover a color, when it's selected with a border, when we drag, so there is no special style for now, but I used to have some. If it's collapsed, so every column is hidden. So basically that was the thing we did last week. So quite easy to hide column in the end. The settings, the open settings. If we have some hidden columns, and if the hidden columns are shown. So basically, that's where I start when I want to do some design. I create a component, design it, and then I can use it. So for now, maybe we can start with a model and find where to put the data, and then use it on the UI. So in terms of model, so I have this model folder, and when you open it, you have a project thing, which is basically the whole project you can use. So the project have a few things, and basically the project is the type that is serialized into the local storage or the IndexedDB to save it. So basically it holds everything, but it's not a format optimized for the storage, and it's not what I'm using in the application, because I want a format more optimized for read and update things everywhere. But for now, we have we can add things. For example, I think if we want to make it quite generic, we can add a dictionary from an ID to a note, like this. So note dict string to string. So, and this string basically is a serialized ID. So it can be a table ID, it can be a column reference. So if you want to put some note into for a column, for a table, or even a relation, for example, or anything else. So this will be the ID. And this will be, of course, the note, so it will be just a text, a multi-line text. So that's the thing. So when you code in Helm, the thing you want is to just do what you want. So for example, here I want some notes, and then you follow the compiler error that will tell you what are the problems to fix, and go into a new working state. So for example, here I have the project have a bad compute function. So let's see here. What's the problem with compute? It's taking a project and another project, but this one is not a project anymore because it misses the not things. Not, so dict empty. Now inside the ERD model, we have a problem. So this ERD model is the model I'm using into the application to display the types, the column and tables and relations. And basically you see there is ERD table instead of table in the project. And this ERD table is like the same thing as a table, but with a bit more information inside. So here I want to have some. So I want to create. So I have two functions. One is create from a project to an ERD, and the other one is unpacked from an ERD to a project. So that's why I can have a objective function for that. And of course, now the project is not correct. I want to have some note here. So I can put dict.empty to make it work. But in the end, I will have some. I will have to add them. So maybe it's no, not working. So I have this project V1. This project V1 is the old project that I still support if there is some applications that have it stored. So I can read it and then transform it to the new project. So migration, but as it's stored in user browser, I can't know how to. I can't migrate them when I want. So basically here it's quite easy. There was no node before, so I will have no node now. So dict.empty. And it's working. So now we want to add the node inside the ERD. So for now we'll just add the node for the columns. And for the columns we will add nodes directly inside the column, so it will be easy to see them. But there is two kinds of things. There is tables that are the table from the schema. So basically they won't change. So they have all the columns and things like that. And we have also the table props, which are the property we show in the diagram. So for example, the color, the position, and things like that. So as you can see, we have the position, the size, the color, which columns are shown, and other things. And we can add. So these are the table props. And inside the table props, we have the column props, so the props for each column. And this is where we will add, so as you see, the column props, we have the name, of course, but also the position. The position, so this is the table and size position. But if the column is highlighted, if it's selected, if it collapsed, so some of them are just forwarded from the table, but. And for now, we want to have some notes. And the note will have maybe string, for example. So we may have some note or not. So if we leave an empty string, we have to map it to nothing instead of just an empty string, but. This way it will be easy to know if there is not or not. So when we create a column, an ERD column props, we have several parameters, but we don't have the nodes. So we have to take them. So maybe string, so it's a note, and then we can add the notes. Now we are missing the notes, of course, when we create all the table columns. And here, what we want, maybe we take all the notes here and select just the one we want. So we'll have a dict string notes, but this one are the full notes, and this one are just the note for the column. So dig.get, and here we want to get a string, but from the column relation. So do we have column name, size, color? We miss the table index, I think. When we use it here, it's there. So these props here are the table props, and we give a few value. Maybe we can just pass, as we are using a lot of value here, just pass the table props inside. So I will table props. No, I can't. Yeah, I can't do that because we will have a circular reference between the column props that are referenced inside the table props and the columns. So yeah, let's continue to add a new one, but maybe I should refactor this sometime. I get props.id to have a table ID. Table ID. This way I can create a column ref. Yeah, I don't know why NTG has some trouble to import it. Column ref. And I take a table ID and a column name. So this is from columns, and columns are a list of column names. So this is a column name, and I will transform it to a string. Column ref. So I have this method to take a column ref and transform it to a string. Basically, just opening the three value, the table, the first and the second element of the table. So this is the schema, and then the table name, and then the column name. So I have the thing. Now I miss the notes here, so I should give notes. Props ID is after the collapsed. Oh yeah, I should just after the collapse and not after the list of column, because we always have the last argument here is a return type of the function, and usually the second last is the actual object we are using, and after we have all the arguments. So this is a convention in Elm. So I want to put not here, and so it should be fine there. So where I have some error. So here, yeah, I will miss the not. And the props ID. So it's when I create a table, yeah, I have to give the not. There, yeah, when I create the project, I will have the so init is to initialize the table props from a table and a few other things, and I will need to have the not also. Okay, and there, it's there. So, okay, when I set the columns, I have to give the not because I will compute all the columns, and that's the same thing when I map the columns. I will need them. Okay. So now it's in ERD. You have an error. Where is it? Yeah, here. I think we missed the note. So of course we are calling the create. Here, there, and then we want the note. And the note we have there from, we don't have them here in the create layout, so we need them. Dict string. Okay, and then we have the project, and we need the node here, so project dot node. So here we are. Now inside the layout we have a load layout. I don't understand why when we have a layout we will need some nodes. Yeah, it's on the create layout. I think it's there. Yeah, it's because on the create layout we need the node to give to the table props. Yeah, it's because we are creating the table props when we are creating a layout. Okay, because the layout just store a few a few things and basically won't store the note. So we want to build the note inside. So this makes sense. So let's continue. Dig string note. So as you can see, it's quite mechanic here. Just wanted to make sure I didn't do some mistakes, but it's quite mechanical to just take the value we need. So here we have the ERD, and sadly in the ERD we don't have the notes. We only have some columns props. So I think I will have to store the notes as well to have them here. So here I have my ERD like this, and on the load layout I have the ERD. So yeah, I don't need to take the note as parameter here because they are inside the ERD. I can just use the ERD, but for now they are inside each props. So I think I will have to duplicate the thing and have them here also. So like in the project, we take the notes, relations. I can double relation notes like this. So now this is fine, but of course I miss them in the create when I create the ERD. Double relation notes project.notes. Now in the settings, what do I have? Hide columns. So I'm inside the update. So when I say I want to update the columns, yeah, I will have to give the notes here. So let's do this. It's note. String. Note. I think it will be the same here. But here I have my ERD, so I can just access notes. It's on the map show column, so I have this. Okay. And of course here, so this is the ERD. Mapping the ERD, so these are functions are defined, there are lengths. And so here I will need e.note. No, it's inside the hide columns thing, it's second parameter. So same here, hide columns, and same here, hide columns. Now in the update table I have some trouble. And show all tables. I have the init there, and I have to have the nut at the end. Show and tell nothing. Show and tell hint, and after a nut, so this is a hint, and here I need the notes. Okay. So same here. Again. So in the init, this is just after the double hint. Now inside the update, map table props. Okay, so here we need the ERD. So basically here this is exactly the same thing. I didn't change anything. Before we just have the ERG passed as an argument as the last argument of this, and there I just create a lambda from taking the ERD and just giving it to the last argument of this. So this doesn't change anything, but now I can access the ERD and I can give it here dot notes. And now it works. So basically, as you can see, I have notes either on a dictionary and inside the current props. So I have the notes inside my model. And now I want to create the UI to add them. So let's maybe do a commit. So I added note on the project. Layout. Okay, let's add everything. If I run the test, so if I try to commit, it will run the test and will probably fail because of the serialization of the project, but let's see. Yeah, so it failed. And basically it failed just here, and not only because of the serialization, but because I changed the project structure, and I have to adapt it here. Notes. So this test just takes some project and serialize them and just check the serialization. So as you can see, I have a project one here and the JSON matching it. So I'm sure I can serialize it and unserialize it. So the tests are just here. So I take the project 0 and the JSON and try to encode and decode it. Let's go to project 1 and maybe add some notes from list. Let's have just one node for public users ID. It will be user ID, not a very interesting note, but now I can run the test. And as you can see, my test is failing because I'm expecting to have this, and I have this. So I have to update the project 1 JSON. So it just after the source. So the tricky part is we have to just after the project name. Project name. Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's not the. Okay, I have two problems. One is to upgrade project 1. I don't have notes. Yeah, and that's the same problem I had just before. It's when I try to update the project v1 from project 1, I can't have notes, so now I'm expecting some notes and it doesn't work. So one thing I could do is just to have a project I don't try to upgrade and just serialize. But I will do this later. So for now, just remove the notes. It will be fine. Yeah, this is fine. Just surprised on the project serialization. I should serialize them. So for now, everything works because there is no notes. But we want to have some someday. So this is where I encode and decode the project. So just after the source, here I can have the note, and encode dict. And I think it take 2 key, 2 value. So it's identity. Yes, it's encode string. So here I encode the dictionary. This one I should transform it to a string because in a JavaScript string dictionary have a string parameter. And for the value, I just have to transform it to a value, which is basically any just JSON value. And here I just encode the string. So that's for the encoding part. And for the decoding part, I just take some notes just after the sources. So it's at 10 now. And the code dict. And what does it take? A decoder, and we have a dict of string. So basically just have to decode string also. And this will give to the new function. And the new function have the note just after the sources. So notes. So now, as you can see, it's fine on the decode thing. And now I have the notes. I can just put them there, as we have to have them. Okay. And now, when I create a new project from a source, for example, I will have no notes. So they are just after the sources, so note will be empty. I can't decode the project here. So you see the mistake. So when I try to do some decoding, I always try to do it in a retrocompatible way. So here, as you can see, the notes field is expected, and of course it doesn't exist. So instead, I will just use a default field. So this one is from me, and it's just the same thing, but with a default value. So it's a maybe field, but with a default value. So if it doesn't exist, it will take the default value. So dig.empty. So now, if there is no note, it will take empty note. And now the project is working again. So that's nice. So I can encode and decode notes. So I think it's fine. The tests are passing, so... So yeah, other problem in the test. So I have some automatic fuzzer, so to generate some value, and I can automatically generate a random project. And so now I have to adapt it. So dict small. So this is like generating a dict and string small. And it's a map 10. So basically I coded the dict small and string small because if you don't, you will generate a random thing, but you can have a very big dictionary with very big string. So dictionary small just generate a small dictionary. And same for the string small just takes the 10 first values. So let's try to commit again, and now what I have the notes. Yeah, so on the serialization, you see I just serialize notes, and I don't expect them. And the same as when I decode, I try to be retrocompatible. When I encode, it's the same thing. So basically, if I don't have notes, basically meaning the dictionary is empty, I don't want to serialize this field. So I think I have the same thing with so this is my encode helper, and I don't have not null object. So yeah, the not null object will generate an object. So here the not null object will just remove the nullable values for the field. So here I should generate a nullable value. But this one just generates an empty object. So let's with default. So basically I have this with default, which I take an encoder and the default value. And this default value is, if I have this default value, I don't encode the thing. So I think that's what I will need here. So I will do some encode dot with default from this encoder and dig dot empty. So what it will do, it will encode the value here with this encoder if this is not the same as this one, and of course this one is an empty one, so should be fine. And basically I should be very careful to have the same thing here and here, because of course is I don't have the same thing, I won't encode something and I won't be able to take it back. Yes. I don't do often these things just because I don't often add new data to the model, hopefully, because otherwise it will be very big. So okay, I have my commits. So now we have everything inside the model. What we can do is to define the layout here. So just add a small dot and see how it look like. So after we can do the add and update. So let's go to our view column, and I will just add so I will take some inspiration, of course, from Tailwind, and I will just take something like this. So I will need an inner block relative. Not sure if it will work with a flex block. We'll try out. And then this is the dot. So we'll just add it and see how it will look. So we'll just add it everywhere and then just do the small thing. So it's span class. I will get this. Okay. So it's there. So okay, they are all on the top right. So I should add some relative. Isn't it relative? Yeah, it's relative. Maybe it's not general. Yeah, okay, it's there. So if I had the relative thing, I have the dot there. So I have top 0. Here we do some top 2 and right 2. Yeah. Maybe just 1. It hides a little bit the question mark when you have the new label thing. Let's do it the right 0. I think I will avoid the ring white Maybe just try out with a ring one. Yeah, it's smaller. And if I do a right one, yeah, it seems fine. Now I should have I don't have the, maybe in the column I have the color. No, I don't have, why I don't have the color? Let's forget this for now. So I have this absolute, top one, right one, block. This is the size. Is it? Yeah, it's good size. So we rounded, ring one, white, beige, gray. Maybe I can, so taking some inspiration from another part. So if I look at this, how it's done, okay, there is two rings. One is with 200 and the other one is to 600. So ring go 200 and BG and you grow 600. What does it do? No, it's not. Right, is it better like this? Yeah, it's better like this. Or maybe if I do a bigger ring, yeah, can be interesting. Let's try out like this. But now I don't want to have indigo every time, but I want to have the color. So I have some helper. This one are there to help for the terrain generation. So we use CSS so I can have an array instead of just a string. Do I have a ring 200 with the model state color? No, I don't have it. I will have to create it. And do I have a BG 600? So this one already exists, but this one, the other one don't. So basically it's pretty basic. It's just concatenating string, but and the ring, it's a ring 200 I want. State color. Don't seem to be indigo. Yeah, not the. Yeah, not good. Okay, that's great. And if I change the color on the documentation, so where is the color? Color here, it's indigo, maybe yellow. It's yellow. Great. So I have this first thing to show a note, and I will just do a view column note. We'll take maybe string, which is a note, and do I need to have the I will need to have the configuration for that. So let's take the wall model, like the other thing. HTML message. So for now, the note is hard-coded. So for the note, we'll use a popover. On the right, the popover takes the content of the popover if it's shown, basically, and the things to. So let's do for now a div and true. So I will just, so if I have some note, so map or else, so if I have the note, let's do this, and otherwise let's do this. And I will just do a text here. So I have my popover always shown. I don't know. Yeah, it's because of the popover. Yeah, this is something difficult. I should probably rework a lot my popover thing, but for now, let's just do the popover on the side. Let's do div and just oh. Oops. Okay, so what I did basically is just to have not the popover on the ring on the dots, but just after. because I can control if it's visible or not here, so I can just do the hover thing here and just pass the value there. So now I want to show it on don't know if I want to show it on click or on hover. Probably on hover. It will be nicer, just like a tooltip, for example. So tooltip is like a popover, but just with a string inside, so there is not much configuration. But the popover have a whole HTML. Probably they will be merged at some time. Yeah. So when I want to display it, so in the model, I have a state, and in the state, so it's for a table, is hover, highlighted columns, open popover. So I have an open popover with an HTML ID, so I already have a popover. Basically is I think it's for this. So I can just use this popover thing. It's on hidden column, of course. You see the show popover. So let's do the same thing. So this is on the documentation. Popover ID is the model ID, and for me I want the model ID plus a few extra things. So I want the column name here. I don't have what for the column. I have the name string, so okay. Because the column name is from my project, and here I'm inside the component, so I don't want anything from my project. Column name. Note. I have the basic ID, and then I add the column name and the notes. So that's my popover ID, and here is my model state dot open popover is my popover ID. Yeah, of course. We need column dot name So, and now we need to add the move center and move slave attributes. So they will be on the span. So if I have the hover feature, so basically when I use the embed mode, I can have different settings, and basically I can disable the hover. So if I have the hover feature, I can use the move center, move sleeve, and I will call this action hover colon. So basically this won't be this action, and the give column name. So on the action, can I trigger the popover? Can I change the power for now? I don't think so. Yeah, because here I have the hover hidden columns. So this is what will trigger the popover. But I think I will need something more generic there. So instead of hover hidden columns, that is used like this with a trigger a popover set with the ID I want. I will just carry it set popover. Seems much more logical here. Yeah, let's do this. So now I have the set popover. And I will use it there. So we call the set popover, and on enter it will be the popover ID, and on leave it will be empty string. So now it should work. Okay, so now I have this popover and this one also. It's a bit small, but don't know how to make it bigger for now without impacting too much the design. So I think it's still a big, very visible point. Yeah, this one is not interactive. Maybe I can just remove the outer circle to have a bigger surface. So if I remove the ring and then I do a 2 instead of 1. Yeah, seems better to me because it's a bit smaller. Cool. Yeah, I don't want to have it on a hidden column. Yeah, let's handle that later. Now more column. So the popover, I will use the same design here. So some padding on the vertical part, rounded, white, and some shadow. We'll do everywhere. Okay, that's a bit cheap for now. I don't want to have the text in the same color. Why do I have the text? Oh yeah, it's because the clone is hovered, so the text is in this color, and of course it's hovered when you have this hover. Let's just add text. I don't know. I think gray 400 is no, maybe a bit darker, like 700. Yeah, seems cool. Another thing, so there I have a title. Yeah, no, won't change it for now. So now, instead of having it hard-coded, I should have it there. So like the comments, but the notes. So I can have, where is the hello world? Column.notes. And same here, we will just follow the errors. So basically, comment note, of course, on the table. So now I have the notes. So this one is ERD column, but I think ERD, I didn't add the note to the ERD column. I just forgot it. Or was it on the ERD table? I don't understand why I don't have my notes here. It's on ERD, on the model part. Do I have my notes? Okay, so I have the notes. Okay, I just added the note there, but not on the... Oh yeah, they are not on the table, they are on the props. They are on the props. So here, so on the not this table but the table inside the view. So okay, the notes here, so they are not correct. So it's not from the column but from the props. Here are the props. Yeah, because it's the table props and not the column props. So I will need to get the column props. So from the table props here, I just take the column props and then take the notes thing using a flat map like and then in Helm. So now this work, and on the design I have no notes, but if I had some in the documentation, so for example in this sample I have my columns, and if I have some notes for, I don't know, the name thing, so I have a SQL command here but also a note. So for the name I will add note, just a nice note. We'll have it there and then we can see it. So we have the view part, and so let's commit that. That's my view column notes. Okay, and now I have my update part, I want to add the my view part. I want to have the update one, so adding a field there. So inside the so let's close a few things. So this is my table, and as you can see, I have on the action context menu column. So basically, it's the action triggered by when I right click on the column, and I have a view that is displayed. And as you can see, we have all the thing. So if I have add note, add column note. I have my add column note. Should I do the add note for? Okay. Let's just say add note for now. And basically that's where it starts to be a bit trickier. I want to have an input and update it. So a lot of things there. It will be quite similar to the save to layout. So if I have a layout, I can create a new layout. I will have save your layout. So I could write the note there and just save it. So let's look at this save your layout part. So it's inside the modals. So you can look at the project, and inside the ID we have a few modals, and I will need to add a new one to I will just call it edit note. View edit note. Layout dialog. So it's not the layout dialog, it's the note dialog. I don't have the layout name. I have nothing for now. So I have title, input, open. So layout message. So I will have to create a few messages. Because for layout I have quite a few of them that edit. So the layout name is the input, so I will need not which is a string. I think I will need to have the theme. Write some note for T view edit note let's say it will be there. Name. So let's create the same thing. Note message. A note message. So I just prefix the name of the commands here, just to avoid naming conflicts with this or the other ones. I will need some open, an edit, a save note, and the cancel. Basically the other one won't be used. So basically it's open and cancel and save. So I can open the modal, then I can close it without doing anything, so just a cancel. I can close it with saving the thing, so it will be a string, and I can edit it, so it's when I change the input. Expose with variants. And now there will so it's a note message with cancel. So this way you can see it's importing the correct thing. So that's why I'm trying to not have different thing. Okay, write note for okay. Note. So after that I will have to change the input for a text area, but it will be later. It will note and edit. Okay. And it's save a note. Don't need this. Save it out, save note, cancel. Layout name. It notes. I don't know where I have this thing, because I think I can just do that and do the same thing there. Put ID. So I think I will just finish this this part and stop. We'll continue later. You can see my pull request, so to see what I've done and then how I continue this. Where are we? So now, of course, now I have some problems. So when you are lost in your change, you can just look at the compiler. It will tell you your problems. So of course I added some messages, but don't handle them for now. So I will need to. So it's in the update for the ID, and we can layout message, and I will do the same thing here. It's note message, and it will call the handle note. I don't need the now thing, so yeah, I will probably add it later, but for now I won't need it. And basically, as you can see, for some subtypes I add some specific updates, so it will be the same thing for notes. Handle notes. And now I can import it. Why it's not recognized? Updates, notes. Yeah, now I can import it. So whenever I get a note message, I just forward it to the handle notes. Don't take the time. And now it's not, of course, a layout message, it's a notes message. And the note I have the n open, n edit, with n save, n cancel. And I think that's it. Only 4, yes, only 4. Can remove this. Notes. So I won't need a new layout, just an ERD. So set new layout. So no set new layout. Yeah, that's the thing. I have a lot of dialogues. So for all the dialogues, I have a thing here. So you can see schema analysis, sharing, settings. All the dialogues have their model. So I will have need to have my own notes. Let's say edit notes. So it's edit notes with a note dialog. Oh, it's completely typo involved. Okay. So here now I will need to define the length for the edit note. So this is a very boring part. I don't know how to automatize. Edit edit notes. So basically, you just update the field for anything that have a edit note attribute, but it doesn't change the value if it doesn't need to. So if you think it's at the set, so if it's the same, you will just return the same thing. Otherwise, it will update. This is helping for the lazy part of Helm, so to keep the same reference object if possible. So so it won't update the thing. So set edit note. I'll just create a new ID. So this is where I reference all the ID that I may have in the application. Edit note. Edit note. So I can use them as constants. Edit note dialogues. The note. I can start with this, but I will have to set the correct note. Batch, so open modal. So no tracking event for now. So yeah, let's create a tracking event. So open edit note. So basically, I'll just open edit note. They are very simple functions. Just tracking this key, but as a defined function here, I can have all the tracking events defined in the whole application. So it's like a centralization thing. Open edit notes, so I can know if people open notes or not. I will probably need the column or more on edit. Of course, I will have to use it. So this one is map new layout, so I will have the new layout and can transform it. But with the M, it will just handle the maybe thing. So let's do the same for the edit notes. Same here. Yeah, as you can see, it's not very interesting. If you have any way to improve that, feel free. Okay, just edit the notes. If I save the note, PRG, and then okay. And cancel. It's like this. So here I will need to have the note. get the note, I can either take there from the props or from the ERD. In either way, I will have to access the ERD because the props are inside the ERD. So I can do map ERD. So this map ERDM command. So yeah, that's a bit cryptic maybe, but the thing is, this one just take the ERD and will return the ERD with the command, and that one just takes the model, which is not what I really want. Let's do something manual for now, and so model.erd, I want to take the ERD, so I can do maybe or else. I don't. What's the problem? Yeah. Okay. So, but the question is for which, so I can just, because here on the open, it's not just open for anything. I will have to know for which note I want to open. And I will have a few different. So for now, I will just have the columns, but I will have later the tables and relation maybe. So I will open for a string which is the key for the thing, and another string which is the value. No, let's just take this one. So as you see, I don't like this much because you don't know what is it, but let's for now move on. Not key. So with this, I have a maybe ERD. I can do model.erd and then so dig dot So what I'm doing here is, if I have an ERG, I just take the note from the note key given as parameter, and if I don't have it, it will just be empty string. So I will have the note for the thing I want. If I edit note, so and I think I will have to keep it. So note key string note key edit. We just change the thing, and then I want to, so I can remove all this. So update note. I think the note key is not fine here. I will have to define a note reference which hold different thing. Let's do this just after. I will take the ERG so note key notes ERG I will have to let's say we get note key here also. So key notes and the ERD. So for the note key, this is not great. So let's define here, but probably somewhere else after. Type not ref. So I can have a column with a table ID and so it will be a conref or a table, for example, with a table ID, and I will open, and basically the note key will be the note ref. So here I will have for my dialog, the note key will be a note ref. I probably should put it there. So I have an ID, a note ref, and with this note ref, as string, case ref of column this function is quite important because it will map any not ref to the string, and this should be unique because it will be used as a key for the map. Okay, and so on the update note, just get the ref. So it's working. So it's working. Does it work? No, I have some problem to the embed thing. Yeah, of course. Because in the embed I will need so the new layout, edit note, and same the ID. So these are the initial value from the page. So I have in the embed and in the ID the same model because it's quite the same. So now I have to initialize the edit note. Basically, it will be not shown at the beginning, so empty, quite easy. Working, that's great. So now when I add a note, what I want is not to do the move up like it's already the case, but call the new message I created. So from the context menu, I will call where is it? It's on model. I will call not message with an open and the not ref, and the not ref it's a colon with a colon. Okay, so I can do, yeah, let's do this. What it will do, add note, it will do nothing. Of course, this is because I did the layout. Yeah, okay. I feared I changed the wrong thing. So it's because I did the layout. So if you look at where it's called, no, not the handle thing, the view edits note. So if you look here, the view create layout where it's called in the view, and as we saw at the beginning, we had the view app, we looked into it, but we have also view modals, and view modals just show the modals, the different modals. So basically, if we have the edit note thing, we will display the view edit note modal with its ID, open dialogues, and I will need the entity name here. And I will need the entity name. Let's say I will get the ERD as parameter and will use it there. ERD. So I will use the map 2. Okay, this one is fine. But now I will have to get the entity name from the ERD. So same with the update. So in the update in the where is it? Yeah, it's there. So as you can see in the update for the note, we had the ref as string, but now I will have the ref as name, for example. So it will get the name of the entity from the ERD. So I can do ERD and the ref is model.ref. So when I have a column, I will ERD.tables get column.table. Maybe, and then so I have my table, and then table.columns get c.column. Maybe map or else. So I have now my column. So, and I will say, let's say, write some note for XX column. So I think in ERD I have the tables, but in the table the columns are non-empty. So it's net.get. So net stands for non-empty dictionary. It's like dict, but that can't be empty. For c.name column, and if I don't find it, maybe with default, something like that. Let's do nothing for now. Colored icon, not. What is this table? Yeah, okay. So as you can see, I already imported a column, so we have a mistake there. So that's why I try to have some unique identifier here. So column double note, and column note. So now I can say double note and it's fine. So same here. So T, let's map T point name yeah, of course. So you can say, okay, so it will say write some note for example, users table. ID table ID dot show. So yeah, everywhere I use the table ID show instead of the table name because it could add some the schema name if needed. So as you can see, if the schema is default, it just sends the table, but otherwise it will use both. So, and here we want maybe map, so column, so we will miss the column. So it will say update node from, for example, description column of XX table. And there I can just have the ID from this one. It will be table ID that show, and otherwise unknown entity. You can just and the ref. So yeah, it will be different for each. It's column ref to string column. Have a show thing will be better for unknown entity, and same here. So you will say write some note for unknown entity, unknown entity, for unknown entity. It will be table ID table. So with that we have the name, so that's nice. And I will save, it will del.ref, we need to give it here. So it's working. So let's see how it goes. The description, add note, write note for description column of groups table. You can add Toto and save note, and it does nothing, of course. Why it does nothing is because what I'm doing. So on the note, yeah, I'm doing anything on the update note, so that's why. As I have the note on two parts, I will have to update on both. So same there. I will do something different based on not ref. So case ref. We are moving to the end. Column note. We'll do this or double note. So for now, double note doesn't exist, so we won't do anything. But for column note, we'll have to update the note thing. So we'll do a map note. Map note. Of course, it doesn't exist, so I have to create it there. Map set notes. So yeah. And map notes, and then I dict update. So the update that will have a maybe. That's not what I want. I want to do insert maybe for a key and value. Insert a key value pair into a dictionary, replace the value when there is collision. So that's exactly what I want. So the insert take the key and the value. So the key will be the string from the ref, and the value, it will be the note. So now I updated the global notes, and basically it should be the same for the table, but I should also update the properties, the props. So if I look at ERD, I will go into map table props, map table props. Inside the map table props, I will update dict.alter. So alter is like update, but without the maybe. As you can see, we just have update with the map. It will alter this table, and inside this table I will have to update the column props. So map column props doesn't exist. No, doesn't exist. It's a shame. Map. Let's create it. Map column. And now inside the column props, I still have a dict, so we'll do the same thing with the alter. Dict.alter c.column, and then inside the column props, I will map notes. Oh, we just set notes. Set notes, and the value will be just notes. So this is working, but we don't want just note. We want to have a maybe note, maybe filter. So update notes, we will transform the notes into just note, maybe filter. Different. What's the problem? Yeah. And so then we have maybe notes. So I just take some note and just filter it there. So there I will have not an insert. What I could use, insert, update, remove. So if I have a sum, yeah, do this. Map or else. So if I have notes, I will do an insert. And otherwise I will do dot remove same one. So do I have something like set? Maybe I can code something like set, like the, it's like the insert, it's like insert or like insert, but you have a maybe, so if it's a none, if it's nothing, it will just remove it. So comparable, maybe v comparable v key value dict. So if I have a value, I will do an insert. So dict insert key value, and otherwise I will do remove. And why is not happy? Oh yeah, it's so now I can do set the key and note, maybe string. Is it fine? Yeah, is it fine? It's fine. And now it's not just note, but just the note. So the set, if it will be some, it will remove, otherwise the alter set note. So I change the note on both parts. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how it goes. If I update note on description, hello, and I have my hello. So great, it works. Of course, it's not finished because there is a lot of polish to do, but at least it's working now. And if I save my project and reload, I lost I lost my my note. So some debugs, I think, but as you see, we have almost everything we want. And at least we have all the pieces together. We have a lot of polish to do, but it's almost working. So I will stop there. So I hope you enjoy or will enjoy it, and see you next week. Not next week, because I will be on Helm meetup to present Azimutt and code with other people on the in real life. But so not next week, but the week after, I will do something else. And feel free to ask any feature or anything. I will be happy to code with you. See you. Bye.